Welcome to Stochastic MLB DFS Live Before Lock. I'm your host, Neil Orfield. You can find me on Twitter at PlayerQDFS. I am here with my old pal EMac. You can find him on Twitter at EMac DFS. And this show is sponsored by BetMGM. Got a great offer that we have going. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but we've got a great offer with BetMGM. You can get up to $1,000 paid back in bet credits. And a free month of Stochastic Plus Platinum when you sign up on BetMGM. Make a deposit and make your first paid wager. Fantastic deal there if you use the link that I just put into the YouTube chat. Pinned it to chat as well. We'll talk more about BetMGM later on. EMac, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Poor Neil had to hear me come on and complain immediately. But here I am. I'm a little more cheerful now. Got that out of the system. It's all good. I see we're sponsored by Scotch Brite today as well. This is good. Is this a 3M product? Is that what we're looking at?
It is. This is a free hat that my wife gave me because my wife works at 3M, as you might know. So yeah, free hat. It's a good one. I kind of like the hat.
I'm trying to think. Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. Is that what 3M stood for? Okay.
Yep.
That was a long time ago that I learned that in college before the internet.
That was something you had to learn. Like they taught that in college.
Something about branding class, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, good branding.
Or marketing, I guess what they called it, marketing.
And it no longer means that. At this point, there's no meaning behind it. It just means 3M from what I understand. They don't claim to have any kind of meaning like that anymore. I suppose I should also tell you guys about the Stochastic Avatar. If you have not yet signed up for the Stochastic Avatar, go to stochastic.com/avatar. And if you want to get into the Stochastic Hall of Fame, you just have to put, of course, that avatar as your avatar on DraftKings and FanDuel. Place in the top 3 in a contest of 5,000 or more, and tweet your win to @StochasticHOF. If you have Twitter, if you don't have Twitter, you can just email it to us as well. Your screenshot with that Stochastic avatar, and you'll win a free month of Stochastic Plus Platinum and get that ever elusive shout out from Lofty. So do that if you haven't already. And also, if you have not yet done so, please do subscribe to our podcast channel, which we're really trying to get going again. So go over to wherever you get your podcasts, subscribe to the Stochastic channel, give us a 5-star review, helps us out quite a bit. EMac, we have yesterday we went, I think, like an hour and 40 minutes covering. We covered 16 games though, so we had a lot to cover yesterday. Today we're just covering the 10-game main slate, but we do need to stick it within an hour because this is a live before lock. The contest starts in just under an hour, so we will jump right into it. Do you have any overarching slate thoughts, or do you want to just jump into it, EMac?
The key things to remember: the New York Mets game is pushed to 5:10. That's still included on both main slates, as well as Yahoo. DraftKings does not have Coors Field today. FanDuel does, and we are starting out in a delay already for Kansas City. They're hosting Tampa Bay. There's been rain in the Midwest all weekend. That looks like it's going to clear up around 3:30 local time. So they'll just wait that one out and go ahead and play that. So I'm comfortable with those games. And it does look like the Mets Dodgers is going to play tonight with that, pushing it back for that delay. And then the only other weather spot was there's kind of a trail of storms moving. If you ever look at a map, it's kind of interesting that Baltimore kind of leads up towards Philly, which leads up towards New York. You think of them as I think of everything as a straight line east, but it's really a northeast straight line. And that is where the weather pattern is going today. So okay. The weather that we had a little bit of rain in DC metro area this morning and mostly sprinkles, and that's up in Baltimore now, but it's clearing. It'll hit Philadelphia just before their game starts and then should be out of there. So I don't think it'll impact their game. But there we are. Those are my thoughts.
T-Bird, I'm going to do White Sox. I just got to go in the order that I have it here. Makes it a lot easier for me, but I'll get to the White Sox. We're going to get there as our second game here. We're going to start with San Diego at Philadelphia. Seth Lugo on the mound for the Padres. Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. Starting with these pitchers. EMac, any interest?
All righty. So, yes, Wheeler ends up being essentially across the industry, the most projected raw points option. However, it never feels that great going against San Diego. So I'm actually going under the field on it. I have not run my crunches, but I did get all my percentages set up. We have them at 39%. I'm capping it at 30. I'm just giving a little bit of respect there to the Padres. When we look at the Padres lineup, now these teams played a doubleheader yesterday. So the Padres this season, not so great against right-handed pitching from a power perspective outside of Juan Soto, your Manny Machado home run call, though. You did call it for the second game, not the first game, but you did get the Manny Machado home run via a technicality. Those guys are good against anybody, Soto and Machado. No Fernando Tatis Jr. in the lineup. So all of a sudden this looks a little bit better. And then you've got, the resurgent Gary Sanchez, but he's got plenty of strikeouts. Matt Carpenter, finding new life in the National League once again. He is a 30% strikeout rate this year. Brandon Dixon, Trent Grisham round out the back of the lineup. They each have a 30% strikeout rate this year. So all of a sudden, my thought on going under Wheeler more because it was a better lineup is now turned into just, I want to be under the field. It's becoming more of a leverage type play.
Okay. So you're not getting
it was there. I was respecting the Padres, but they look way different without Fernando Tatis Jr. So
okay, but you're still planning on being underweight just because of the leverage you find in. Okay,
but he will be a I have 4 pitchers set at 30%, so I'm going above on a couple players we'll talk about, but I'm coming in under on that one. On the other side, Seth Lugo, did he suddenly put it together in his 30s? Did you know over his last, since he turned 30, he has 211 innings at almost a 10 strikeout per 9 and 1.23 home runs per 9. I'm not really buying it, but he is no stranger to the Phillies. He spent his prior 7 years before this one with the New York Mets. The current Phillies have a 267, 330, and a 453 triple slash against him. It should be no surprise that Bryce Harper hits him well. The only worry we have about Harper is, he did Tommy John surgery on his elbow, right? It's anytime something like that happens, it's still a little bit of a concern, but Harper's a good player. So I'm okay with him. We love Schwarber always. And then Real Muto, still a solid option. So I like those guys at the top. I'm not really getting to Lugo at all. I set him at 10%. We'll see if it comes in at all.
Okay. Do you want to expand on your bats at all, or just want to rank the sides?
Let's rank the sides because there are more interesting games here. We're going to go Wheeler 1, Phillies 2, Padres 3, Lugo 4. Okay,
perfect. I see DNA or John says, got a good win yesterday listening to you guys and using the tools and Fantasy Cruncher. Thank you so much. $51 into $539. Love to see that. More than a 10x there. Nice job there, DNA or John. Always fun to see big wins there.
Very nice. I couldn't have been more wrong with where I landed on the main slate stuff last night. So I'm glad somebody parsed the correct path through my observations. So congratulations, DFS.
I didn't end up playing any DFS. It's a rare thing for me to not play particularly when I'm doing content, because I had a wedding. The good friend's wedding started at 5:00 yesterday, and I had a lot of stuff I needed to do before then. So it was just ended up being I wanted to. I was thinking I might make some last minute lineups if I could find the time, but I just was not able to find the time. So didn't end up playing. But it looks like we had a few people. We got a shout out on Twitter as well. So people did pretty well. That's fun to see. All right, we will move on to the second game of the slate. The White Sox at the Braves. Dylan Cease on the mound for Chicago. Colby Allard for Atlanta. Any interest in these pitchers, EMac?
Not really. So I read a couple things again in the industry just to sort of calibrate what I wanted to look at. And there were some people calling out Allard as having a high strikeout rate. He doesn't. He does not. It's a small inning size. He's got 12 innings or so this year. I'm going from memory. I think 20 last year. Don't buy into Allard. He started out his career with Atlanta. He got traded in 2018 for some middle reliever from Texas, and now he struggled with Texas, and he's come full circle, and he's back with Atlanta. So things that you need to know about him: over his last 103 right-handed batters faced, he's a lefty, so it's opposite-handed matchups. He's allowing a 362 ISO. So essentially, everybody facing him who is right-handed looks like prime MVP Mike Trout. That's all you need to know. Right. So we are actually, after making fun of the White Sox yesterday, I think we can look to Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Andrew Vaughn, and Jake Berger. Hell, throw in Yasmani Grandal. They're all looking very good from the power perspective, and home runs are a little bit of an issue there for Allard. So, and we did, by the way, we got the worst case scenario Strider start yesterday. He still had like 11 strikeouts or whatever it was. So there was the answer. I think, what did he get, like 12 or 13 fantasy points? Okay, there's his worst case scenario.
Right, which you don't want it at whatever 12,800 or whatever
he was
so
but
still.
popular yesterday that that wasn't a really.
Yeah, he could have theoretically won with it, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, it sounds like you do have interest in these White Sox bats.
Yes.
Are you playing any Braves bats?
So you can always play the Braves bats, right? Much like the Rangers, the Braves are the National League version of literally having an all-star lineup this year. So they're going to be going against Dylan Cease. Most of my notes here just say Dylan Cease has solid strikeouts still. His hard hit rate is up, but we should expect that from a power pitcher. Going against the Braves, he does, they don't see him all that often because he's in the American League. However, let's go pull up the price chart here. I want to make sure I got it correct. If I remember correctly when I was looking at this. Yep, Atlanta's still very expensive on DK. Acuna 66, Albies 57, Riley 51, Matt Olson 61. That makes them neutral plays to slightly below average plays, just because they're priced where they should be in this one. But a power pitcher, you roll the dice. He could get 12 strikeouts, or he could give up 3 home runs, or he could pull a Strider and do both.
How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
I would say this will be fun. White Sox righties, Braves top 5, Cease, and then Allard. You don't need to play Allard today. Is
it so? I mean, the White Sox righties obviously benefit from pitching against a lefty who's not good against righties. But then, does it also give you a boost to the lefties? Because, obviously they're going to hopefully chase Allard pretty early in the game. And then, maybe at that point. No,
because there's only 2.
Yeah, that's right. Just Benintendi and
Grandal, the switch hitter, and Benintendi. And they aren't scared to keep Benintendi up top. He doesn't have power against lefties, but he can put the ball in play, and that's all they really care about. And then they get to Tim Anderson, who used to be a god against lefties, hasn't for about 3 seasons now. I'm not sure what happened there, but we keep rolling them out.
All right, I was wanting to make my point, and then I pull up the lineup, and I'm like, oh yeah, there are no lefties in that Chicago lineup, which just makes the whole lineup, kind of appealing.
Baltimore, we have to think about that with. Giants, we have to think about with. Those are, and to a lesser extent, the Mets. Those are the teams that'll do more pinch hitting.
Right. So not a huge concern for the White Sox, which is good to see. All right. Miami at Baltimore. We have Steven Okert on the mound for Miami, Kyle Bradish for the Orioles. Any interest in either of these pitchers?
No, it sounds like it's going to be a bullpen game for Miami. Okert, I think he even pitched 12 pitches yesterday, so he's probably just going to open up the first inning. I was all excited because Baltimore lines up very nicely against lefties. However, he's not going to be playing the full game. And then when we go look at the Baltimore lineup, we got a true Sunday lineup from them. You've got Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, and Anthony Santander. Awesome. Love that. No Mountcastle, though he did get a standing ovation last night when he got his hit. Remember I talked about him dealing with vertigo. Austin Hayes batting cleanup. Ryan O'Hearn, I think Hayes is cleanup. Ryan O'Hearn is 5th. And then it's garbage. It's Ramon Urias, Colton Cowser, Adam Frazier, and James McCann. Frazier and McCann have been okay throughout their careers against lefties, but we're going to get lefties and righties coming in from this bullpen. I kind of thought we'd see either Johnny Cueto or Jesus Luzardo, but I guess they're going bullpen. So I couldn't find any other information on that. But I know Cueto is close to a return. I kind of figured they might just announce Okert as a opener, but I haven't seen that. So
according to Sean V, Johnny Cueto is supposed to come in for bulk innings. I don't know if that's something that I read somewhere, but that kind of in line with
that makes sense, because I was trying to look for that all morning and trying to find news Sunday morning coming out of the All-Star break for MLB. Good luck. When teams don't have their rotations announced, you can go look at the look ahead rotations and on ESPN or MLB.com, and entire chunks of the days are missing people, and Miami was one of them. I'm like, come on, they got it. Okay, so Cueto's back. That doesn't change a whole lot. Cueto and his funky delivery, he's getting by on smoke and mirrors at this point, but that was kind of him in his heyday. I'm still okay looking to Baltimore, but we got to talk about Bradish. as a potential pitcher here, because he gets to go against the Marlins, and the Marlins have a 23% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching this season. That's their current lineup, and a 23% strikeout rate dating back to last year. So that works out well for Bradish. Bradish has very low walk rates, single digits over the last season and change, very low isolated power. That is, let's combine those. His isolated power combined is a 141. That's pretty good. It's a little below league average. And then his ground ball percentage is in the mid 40s, which is also key. And then the nice thing about him is his swinging strike rate is just over 10%. I forget who we were talking about yesterday that had a 4% swinging strikeout rate, but this is better. You want 12 or higher. 15 is elite, 10 is pretty good. So that's fine. So Bradish is someone I'm going over the field on today, because in our first, let me see, what do we have in our first look here? Our first look, we had him at 14%. He is one of the guys I've capped at 30.
All right. So you're liking some Bradish today. What did you say his swing and strike rate is?
10.4.
Okay. So not elite, but kind of,
but it's
decent.
It's out of single digits.
Okay. Yeah. Right. All right. How about the Bath in this game? Playing anybody in Baltimore today?
I guess the first three from Baltimore would be fine, but I'm not as excited as I was hoping to be. So Henderson, Rushman, and Santander, they're all fine. Cedric Mullins is out, or he's dealing. I forget what his injury is, but that really dramatically changes it. So now you're stuck with their choices were Ryan O'Hearn. You could see Austin Hayes pinch hit for. I was surprised that Hicks didn't get in the game. And remember, Hicks just got cut by the Yankees, 5 weeks ago or whatever. So and those are guys we're talking about batting 4, 5, 6. So this is not a good iteration of the Baltimore offense.
Okay. All right. How would you rank the four sides of the game?
Bradish, Baltimore, Miami as a complete afterthought, and then you don't need to go to their pitcher or their bulk guy.
Okay. Benny Levine's asking over under combined on air height 12 feet 1 inch. So you think that EMac and I are going to be on average over 6 feet tall? I am under 6 feet tall. EMac, are you a tall guy? Are you over 6 feet tall?
No, I am not tall at all.
All right, so we're hitting the under on 12 feet 1 inches. I'm just a hair under 6 feet, but EMac's not making up the difference for me. So
no,
yeah, sorry for all overtakers on
I'm almost 5'9".
Okay,
almost like 5'8 3/4. But I haven't measured myself in, I don't know, like 20 years. So I may have shrunk back.
It's possibly the wrong way there. I somehow got taller in my third. I don't know if I actually got taller, but I have measured. The last couple of times I've been officially measured, I've been 5'11". I had been 5'10" in like college. So I don't know. I don't know if it could just be their friendlier measurers, but I'm somewhere in that range of 5'10" to 5'11".
Yeah, I'm not even close to 6 feet. I'm not even close to 5'10". So
either way, we're getting the under there.
Yeah, I own it. I'm 5'8", 5'9", about average. I would be tall if I lived in the 20s. The other 20s, not these
20s. All right. Did you rank the four sides of this Miami game?
Yes. Bradish, Baltimore top 3, skip Miami.
All right. Sounds good. Next up, we have Arizona at Toronto. Tommy Henry on the mound for the Diamondbacks. Yusei Kikuchi for the Blue Jays. Any interest in these pitchers?
Sort of. So there's enough options that we don't really need to get there. I set both of them at 10%. So if we look at Kikuchi, I'm actually recommending the Diamondbacks going against him. So let me see what the lineup ended up being. Sorry, these windows are out of order here. So we've got, it's a little different than I was expecting. So Christian Walker, Evan Longoria are my two favorites. I see they dropped Corbin Carroll down the lineup. So Emmanuel Rivera is got the boost. He's batting second. That's a nice upgrade for him. And Ketel Marte. So those guys all going from the right side of the plate. You've got, Christian Walker has turned into an absolutely elite hitter from both sides of the plate for power perspective. 250 ISO against lefties. He had actually been a little better against same-handed for his first few seasons, but he's got exhibits excellent power to both sides of the plate. You get Evan Longoria, like this is what, like year 16 or whatever it is for him. I hadn't realized, I was listening to the telecast yesterday, he had played for San Francisco. I think they said 5 years. I couldn't believe it had been that long. But I think it was 10 in Tampa Bay, 5 here. So he is still absolutely elite against lefties. He's got a 234 ISO over the last 2 seasons in 200 plate appearances, 360 WOBA. That's phenomenal. So I'm very excited about him. Walker, budding all-star, first-time all-star Lourdes Gurriel in the Remember Me spot. And I think you can go to Emmanuel Rivera. Nick Ahmed has fallen off a cliff, but he has had moments against lefties. We really don't need that salary savings today because there's enough cheapies out there. So you could probably skip him because we have 10 or 11 games on the slate, depending on which site you're playing. So stick with the top 5 for Arizona. Kikuchi, where he gets into trouble is he's a fly ball pitcher and he has some home run issues. The nice thing is for him, he doesn't walk a lot of hitters, and he does a decent job striking people out. However, over the last 2 seasons, he has allowed a 200 ISO to same-handed hitters, so lefties. That's really not going to matter for us because only Corbin Carroll and Jake McCarthy. But he has allowed righties a 246 isolated power. So somebody tweeted me for a home run call. The answer is Evan Longoria.
EMac, you got to save that for the end of the show. Just giving it out for free, middle of the show.
Well, that's one. I've got a couple.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. All right. How would you rank the 4 sides of this game?
I would say, we'll give some thoughts here on Toronto, but I would say Arizona number 1. Tommy Henry, interesting. He is young lefty. He essentially got in the rotation after they designated Madsen Bumgarner with his gazillion-dollar contract, back in April or early May. He's been okay. He had a couple rough starts. He doesn't get enough strikeouts, but he's done a decent job of limiting power. One of my notes says, how many extra base hits against lefties do you think home run champion Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has this year?
Oh, man, I'm not even going to be in the right ballpark here.
51 at bats. Okay.
51 at bats against lefties. How many extra base hits? I'm guessing it's not good if he only has 51 at bats. You say it's 17?
17 hits. How many of them were extra base?
I'm going to go with 8.
2. He has 2 doubles. No home runs against lefties. That's going to change, but that was that really jumped out when I was looking into this today to make some notes here. So Henry over his last 4 starts just has 18 strikeouts in 24 innings, 3 home runs, 1.5 ERA. 4.5 whip. So he's been really lucky. He has 3 multi-home run efforts in his last 9 starts. So I think you can go to the Blue Jays. They would have been a little higher on my list if we were going to lose some of these games to weather, because I really like Tampa Bay again, even though they let us down on the late slate. But I think you can look to the Blue Jays top 6. Okay. Everybody who's right-handed.
And you already ranked the 4 sides of the game, right?
It's going to be Arizona bats, Toronto bats, Kikuchi, Henry.
Okay.
Now, Kikuchi's a player. He lands in both columns of my article, right? He lands to stack against, and he lands as a pitcher, recommended pitcher. It's because he has strikeout stuff. So if he's against a team that doesn't have a lot of power, you want to go to him. That's not the Arizona team today. So people say, you like Kikuchi. I do. I was fond of him. He had some nice little run there in Seattle. He's been okay in Toronto, but you have to pick your spots with him.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. We'll move on to the next game. But guys, remember, we are sponsored by BetMGM, and we have a fantastic deal from BetMGM. You can get 1 free month of Stochastic Plus Platinum and your first bet covered up to $1,000 paid back in bet credits when you sign up, make a deposit, and make your first paid wager at BetMGM. That is just a great deal. Covered up to $1,000. So you can make a bet for $1,000, and if you lose that bet, your first bet, you're going to get $1,000 back in bet credit. So it's almost like a free, not a free $1,000, but it's a lot of insurance on that.
It's a second chance.
It's a second chance.
And I lost my $1,000 bet, so I got 5 $200 bet credits when I did it. I won 3 of those, so I ended up wagering $2,000 total, but I only lost 150. I
Beautiful.
felt it was worth it.
Yeah,
it. And then that was when we were giving away 2 months of Stochastic Platinum. So I gave my promo code to someone else, and they got 2 free months of Stochastic.
Wow. Man, that was an even better. That's an incredible deal. Two free months along with the $1,000, but $1,000 you'll still take. You're not going to find that anywhere else. Even just the $1,000 bet credit is great, but then throw in that free month of Stochastic Plus Platinum is a fantastic deal. Don't know how much longer it's going to last in this iteration. It's already gone down from 2 months to 1. You never know if it's going to be. It could go away any day. I haven't heard when the ending for this promo is, but I can't play BetMGM sadly in Minnesota. But if you are in a legal betting state like EMac, you should take advantage of it. All right. You must. The legal age for gambling at most is 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Need to include that as well. All right, let's move on to the next game. And this one, we had some questions about it. Dodgers at Mets. Bobby Miller on the mound for the Dodgers. Max Scherzer for the Mets. This game was bumped back, right, EMac?
Correct. This game is back. It's going to start at 5:10 tonight. So we've got Scherzer going against one of his many former teams here. He's dealing with a sore neck, right? So that's in his last 7 outings, he's only gone 40 innings, and he has allowed 11 home runs. He's got a 5.63 ERA and a 5 FIP. So he's been a little bit unlucky. He has almost 12 strikeouts per 9. But the home runs and going against the Dodgers, I don't feel great about him. I'm coming in at below the field on that, or I've set my cap below the field. We have him at 27%. I'm going 15. So that is my thoughts there. On the other side, you've got Miller, the rookie. He's got a 4.5 ERA, but a 3.7 FIP. So he's been a little unlucky. 42 strikeouts in 44 innings. However, the projected Mets lineup strikes out just 20% of the time against righties this season. So that's very low. That's a bottom 10, or probably closer to a bottom 5 number. So I'm not really interested in Bryce. No, is it Bobby Miller? Sorry, Bryce is pitching today for Seattle.
Okay,
so 2 rookies named Miller. Yeah, get a little confused here.
Yeah, I get that. So not a ton of interest in these pitchers. How about the bats here, Dodgers or Mets?
I'm just looking to see if we don't have their lineup. I don't think we'll get their lineup for another hour or so. But let me see what the projected lineup is. The answer is anybody who hits for power on both sides is going to be a reasonable option. Let's see. So Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso. Those would be the ones I'm interested in against Miller. I don't think you really need to go to Dan Vogelbach today. There are other options. Plus, there's the risk that he ends up not being in the lineup, and we don't have a lot of recovery spots because this game being pushed back. If you look at the Dodgers, my top 2 would be Freddie Freeman and Max Muncy for power. You can also include Will Smith there.
How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Scherzer, Dodgers, Mets, Miller.
All right, perfect. We'll move on to, and we got a super chat about this Milwaukee-Cincinnati game, and we will, wait. No, sorry, we got a super chat about a completely different game. But let's answer the super chat actually before we move on to this game. I don't know how I could possibly pronounce it. HSHSBSSN asks, who do you think Devil Ray? What do you think of Devil Rays and Brewers stacks? So I guess we do have the Brewers here.
So we'll talk about the Brewers. I absolutely love the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, even though we don't get to call them that anymore.
We don't get to call them that anymore. Yeah,
it's a good name. Fred McGriff, Crime Dog. I remember when I had. Let's see, what was like? What year did they come out? 95, I think, was their first year. When Tampa Bay and the Florida Marlins at that point in time. What was it, 2007, 8, when the Rockies came along in Arizona? I've lost track of when that was.
It really that recent?
It might have been a little before that. I don't remember for sure. It could have been 2000. But
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll get to the Rays. Love Milwaukee because I dislike Ben Lively.
Okay.
Do we think Ben Lively somehow became good after washing out of the show and spending 3 years in the KBO? No, we don't. 10 home runs in his 50 innings. That's a 1.74 home run per 9. He is luckily has not had many people on base when he's allowed those home runs. So his ERA still is masking the fact that no bueno is what we say with Ben Lively. When we look to the hitters going against him, it's going to be Adames is number 1. Yelich, surprisingly, he had a home run last night. Is 2. Contreras, I believe he also had a home run. He's 3. Those are your main guys. Jesse Winker, he's batting cleanup, and he's going to be tempting, and the optimizers are going to put him in. He's been in a two-year slump. He hasn't had a good stretch since he left Cincinnati 2 years ago. Bryce Terang is the budding prospect. It doesn't look like he's going to put it together. And then you also have Ramiel Tapia, the former Rocky. Their lineup falls apart after the first 3, but I don't think it matters against Lively. So make sure you got the first 3 in there, and then you can add in 1 or 2 of the others if you would like to do a full stack. On the other side, we have so you've got Adrian Hauser. Joey Votto is in the building. Joey Votto is who you want to make your prime first base option today. Joey Votto is home run number 2 today. We do not always look at BVP, and I had already selected Votto as one of my home run options before I went and just said, I wonder if how often he has faced Hauser. He actually is 6 for 17 against Hauser with 3 extra base hits and 4 doubles. So I like seeing the 3 extra base hits and 4 walks. I like seeing when they have walks and not many strikeouts that against a player as much as, great, they got the hits, but it just indicates that they see their pitches well for whatever reason. So, Votto is he's rounding the corner and heading towards 40 now, but he still can get it done against righties. And even this year in his limited, where is it? In 49 at bats, he has a 455 ISO.
Wow. Okay.
That's like Roy Hobbs.
Roy Hobbs?
The Natural. Come on. You don't know that movie, Robert Redford?
No, never seen it.
I'm taking
the
away
movie
your
is
AARP card.
The movie is called The Natural?
This hurts. This just hurts. Chat. Come on, Redford. You guys know.
No, that's not A League of Their Own. That's
no, that's Madonna.
Yeah, I'm about to get
The Sandlot.
It's from The Sandlot. Okay, I've seen The Sandlot.
You've seen. I'm trying to name baseball movies you've heard of. The Sandlot, Major League, Bull Durham, Trouble with the Curve.
People are laughing at me and not giving me my answer here. So you guys are not very helpful. Thanks a lot.
Catch.
I can just look it up if I really want to. I'm trying to I can picture Robert Redford with a baseball hat on.
Wilford Brimley's in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of old movies. If I have a choice between the old movie or a new movie, I just watch modern
That
movies.
movie came out like in 83 or whatever. It's not that old.
I was born in 83. It is old. I didn't watch movies from the year I was born. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'll figure it out eventually.
1984 is when it came out.
All right.
Kim Basinger's in it?
I was 1 year old. Nobody has
heard
responded.
of Field of Dreams, I hope.
I have heard of the Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Wait, is that the name of the movie? Field of Dreams? A Field of Dreams?
Oh, you're hurting me now. This is not so much here, not so much, but right here. You're familiar with Tommy Boy, right?
I am, of course. I'm familiar with Tommy Boy. Of course.
Now? Okay.
Yes. Oh, big time. All right, back on track, EMac. Milwaukee and Cincinnati. So you have a lot of interest in the Brewers, it sounds like, because you don't
just
lively.
Top 3, but you can fill out the stack however you want. On the Cincinnati side, I like Votto a fair amount. It's mostly lefties going against Hauser that I would prefer. Just quickly wrapping up those notes. Yeah, my notes just say Cincy lefties versus Hauser, particularly Joey Votto. So,
okay. How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
I would say Brewers top 3, Cincinnati lefties, the rest of the Brewers, Hauser, Lively.
The movie is called The Natural. All right, you told me the movie was not called The Natural, and
I said it was called The Natural.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood what you said. Okay. Yeah, no, I've never seen The Natural. Can confirm that. All right. moving on to the next game, we have Tampa Bay at Kansas City. Zach Eflin on the mound for the Rays. Brady Singer for the Royals. Any interest in these pitchers, EMac?
Wait, is it true you can quote lines from The Devil Wears Prada?
Of course. I got the movie memorized.
Oh, it's a good movie.
Is it? Movie. No, I'm fairly certain I have seen it, but no, I don't have it memorized.
All right. Sorry. We'll make up time here real quick, chat. Which game are we on? Let me get back.
We are on the Tampa game. Tampa.
Oh, okay. Kansas City. This is a good one. So again, the game's being delayed. It looks clear 3:00 local time on. This game's going to get in. They're just going to wait for it to happen. Zach Eflin, very expensive, decent strikeout stuff. And going against Kansas City, their lineup over the last this season has a 27% strikeout rate against righties, and over the last 2 years it drops only to 26%. This is a very good option. The only person that has struck out less than 23% over the last 2 years is Nicky Lopez, who is batting ninth. Otherwise, a lot of red there. So look to Eflin as a countermeasure against Scherzer and against who am I blanking on here? Wheeler. I'm going above on Eflin. I'm going 10% above the field on Eflin. If we are looking for Kansas City hitters, I can't really call any out. Eflin will give up some power, but this is not a good Kansas City lineup. On the other side, we're going against Brady Singer. Surprisingly, Singer didn't allow as much power as I expected, but he has a 5.80 ERA this season, a 1.55 whip, and a career low 7.3 K per nine. While he limits home runs, he sucks in every other aspect of the game, which is unfortunate because he looked like he was turning the corner, and last year he had almost a strikeout per inning. He's actually, it might have been closer to 10. It's fallen off dramatically. He's awful this year. He's the opposite of Eflin, who allows a 140 ISO. Singer is just terrible. So I'm looking. The first six are all stellar options, and then take cheapy Jonathan Aranda, their rookie. He's batting seventh, but last I checked, he was $2,000. Let's see if he still is. Aranda is $2,000 on DK, so he is a nice option there.
Okay. All right. How would you rank the four sides of the Tampa game?
Tampa offense, Eflin, the garlic fries, which I hope they have, the Kansas City barbecue, then the Kansas City bats, then Singer. Do all stadiums have a garlic fries now? That was always a thing in Seattle and San Francisco. I'm assuming all stadium has garlic.
I don't buy fries like independent of a burger or something. Like I'm just not. I like fries, but I just like they're not something I buy as a solo thing. So would not know if fries are a thing that are generally at stadiums. Arnold Lane says that he is a huge baseball fan his entire life, and he has never seen The Natural either. That's what I like to hear. I'm not the only one who has not seen The Natural, which came out, like before I was born. I mean, come on. And Sportswiz says that you should not use me as your partner in I forget what the trivia game he mentioned was, and that is absolutely
Jeopardy.
Correct. I would Jeopardy. I would never recommend.
You've heard of Jeopardy before?
Don't use your phone a friend on me. I would not suggest it. However, EMac, I will say, have you ever seen Eastbound and Down?
I've seen clips. I've never seen.
Okay,
I'm familiar with what's his name, something Power, the Kenny Power.
Kenny Powers, yeah,
kind of a ne'er-do-well party animal relief pitcher of sorts.
It's a very, very good TV show. So we all have our hits and our misses as far as baseball shows / movies go. Nobody is batting 100%. Just want to point that out. All right, next up we have 3 games left. Oh, we have plenty of time. We have 20 minutes left to get through 3 games. I was actually going to very briefly, since I'm not doing a VOD on it today, I'm going to pull up the MLB lineup generator. Let's just take a look at what comes out of the lineup generator. And reminder, if you use the link in the description of this video, you can still get this for just $4.48 for your first week. Fantastic deal. Check it out if you haven't already. I'll throw that link into chat as well. But let's take a look at what the lineup generator gives us. And we know going in that every lineup we're going to get out of the lineup generator is going to be a long-term profitable lineup. These have been run through these stochastic sims. They've been found to be long-term profitable. So let's check it out on DraftKings first. Going to do all stack types, all lineup types, not locking anybody. Right away, we get Justin Steele and Zach Wheeler as our pitchers in the first lineup, a 5-man Brewers stack with a 5-2 Brewers Blue Jays stack, and then a one-off of Luis Robert. Looks like a good lineup here. Not a ton of 121% ownership, so it's on the chalkier half of the board, but I'm definitely comfortable playing a lineup that is this far over on the contrarian side of that scale. Looks like a good lineup to me overall. We've got the 6, 7, 8 in the Brewers lineup, so kind of taking advantage of, and 9. Okay, we're taking advantage of the whole back end of that Brewers lineup, and then the wraparound to William Contreras in the 2-hole, and then of course Vlad and Bo Bichette, 2 and 3 hitters for the Blue Jays. Luis Robert as one-off. Looks like a good lineup overall. I'm going to save that one. Second lineup we get is a 4-4 Rays Brewers stack. That one looks good as well. Now we've got Zach Wheeler and Eflin as the pitchers. I'm going to make this quick, so I'm just going to go through and save 20 lineups and see what our exposure looks like. All right, our highest exposed player is Zach Wheeler, 60% Zach Wheeler, 45% William Contreras, number 2, 40% Raimel Tapia. So we really like these Brewers bats today, and then Zach Wheeler's showing up as our most exposed pitcher here. All right, we're going to get back to it, EMac, since we have 3 more games to cover, and this is live before lock. Can't spend a ton of time on this, but check out Lineup Generator, guys, if you haven't already. I put the link into chat. It's in the description of this video, and it's going to give you only plus EV lineups. All right. EMac, next up we have Washington at St. Louis. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Cardinals. Josiah Gray for the Nats. Any interest in these pitchers?
So Josiah Gray, no. So Flaherty is a good SP2. Pricing is excellent on him, and CJ Abrams going against him should be leading off today, 2,900 over his last 6 games of 400, 423, 520, triple slash with 7 steals. So yes, I'm good with Flaherty. Josiah Gray, on the other hand, is better than the guy who led the league in home runs allowed last year. He is down to a 3.4 ERA, but he has a 4.4 expected ERA and a 5.7 xFIP. He has cut the home runs, but he's also lost a strikeout per 9 inning. He has introduced a cutter into the mix, which and it's gone away, taken a little bit away from each of his other offerings. And I mean, he was an all-star. Everybody gets one. I didn't think it would be him. I thought it would be Lane Thomas, but he's okay. I don't want to take him today. So Flaherty 1. I guess it better be the Cardinals 2, Gray 3, and Nationals 4. If we look for the hitters going against Flaherty, we have. I'm not really getting any. I'm starting to run my crunches here, so that's where I was a little distracted. I think you can look to Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Arenado, and Paul Goldschmidt. Kind of the usuals. Throw in Nolan Gorman as well. So their usual power hitters against him are fine. I've gone from nonstop stacking against Josiah Gray to kind of avoiding him.
Okay. So you're
I don't want to play him. I don't want to play players against him.
Is there any side of this game that you have like any major interest in? It sounds like
Flaherty. Should be. Flaherty's cash game viable. It looks like the weather is gonna, once it is out of the picture, it shouldn't be a problem. So he should get his 6 innings in whenever, and even if there's rain, he'll already have his 6 innings in. This morning it looked like he might get 3 innings in. I think the way things look now, it looks like he should be able to get 5 or 6 innings, which is all he's going to pitch anyway.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we still have 2 games left to get through. We've got Boston at Chicago. Cutter Crawford on the mound for the Red Sox. Justin Steele for the Cubs. Any interest in these pitchers, EMac?
Yes, Justin Steele I think is pretty good. I couldn't quite get there to give him the cash game blessing. But he's going against the Red Sox, who they're old. Does Rob Refsnyder scare you as the leadoff person? He shouldn't. So Boston, no Kike Hernandez. Jorge Alfaro is 30. Duvall is 34. Refsnyder's 32. Turner is 38. Even Yoshida is 30. These guys are going against first-time All-Star Justin Steele. Steele he really has looked good this season. Went far beyond what my expectations were for him. Only twice this year has he allowed more than 3 runs, and in 12 of his 16 outings, he's allowed 2 or less. So he's the guy I like to go over on as well. I've capped him at 30%. I'm hoping I get close to that.
All right. How about the bats in this game?
The bats in this game. Hey, Cutter Crawford, what do you think his best pitch is?
Is it the cutter?
Yes, it is. It's a technical cutter and the fastball are kind of a tie, but I went to go look and see because I was curious.
Nice.
In any event, he's an okay pitcher. Allows a little too much power, a little too much fly ball, not enough ground ball, but he's just like an average pitcher. If he was on your team, you'd be like, great, here's our number 4 starter. I'm fine with it. Going against him, Cody Bellinger. Oh, I had a note on him. Here's bonus home run time. So Cody Bellinger, after his multi-year slump after being the 2019 NL MVP, he's been on fire. His last 6 games, he's 11 for 22, triple slash, 500, 560, and at 1.227 slugging. He's got 5 home runs and a double. Ride the streak, respect the streak. Crash Davis, right. You may have heard of him.
Yes, totally heard of Crash Davis. All right. Back to this game. The bats in this Boston-Chicago game. Any interest there?
No, outside of Bellinger, really nobody. Morel.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Steele, Crawford, Cubs, Boston.
All right. Well, we've just got one game left here. That game being Cleveland at Texas. Tanner Bybee on the mound for the Guardians. Martin Perez for the Rangers. Any interest in either of these pitchers?
Bybee, no, just because, or is it Bebe?
I believe it's Bybee. I think somebody had confirmed that it was Bybee, but I could be.
I think it is Bybee, but it's fun to say. Bybee? Sure. Martin Perez is a nice bargain as an SP2, particularly on DraftKings. Also on Yahoo, he's $1 above the minimum. He's $26. He's 31, not a lot of strikeouts, but that's no problem because the Guardians don't have a lot of strikeouts to offer. Perez is good at inducing ground balls, limiting free passes, and while that will not get you tournament-winning scores, he is a solid pitcher, and at that salary discount, very, very nice on DraftKings and FanDuel. When the weather was looking poor, I had him ranked above Flaherty. Looks like Flaherty's going to, as I mentioned, should be good to get his normal work in if he's able to accomplish that against the Nationals. So Martin Perez slightly falling down my list, but I'm still doubling up the field. I've got it capped at 20%.
Okay. How much interest?
And I'm getting 15 of him. So that's perfectly fine.
How much interest do you have in the bats in this game?
Texas, I think, is totally fine. Go to their all-stars, which is like their entire lineup, and the back half of the lineup, nice as well. Bybee is a decent pitcher, still a prospect. He does an okay job of limiting power, but he doesn't have a lot of strikeouts. That's going to be a challenge against Texas because I think my notes had him walking a lot of pitches. He's allowed 6 home runs over 70 innings. But he is averaging almost a walk every 2 innings or every other inning. So that over his last 35 he has allowed 18 walks. So that's a problem because he does allow contact, and Texas is good enough for even if they're stringing together extra base hits. That's what you want in a stack. You don't want a lot of singles. You don't want a lot of solo home runs. You want people marching around the base paths. That's Bybee's weakness at this point.
All right. How would you rank the 4 sides of the game?
Texas, Perez, you don't need to play Bybee, and then Perez does such a good job of limiting power and extra base hits that Cleveland is not worth rostering against him. There's no leverage to be had.
Okay. All right. We've made it through to the end of the slate. We made it through every
Colorado. FanDuel has Colorado.
Oh, all right. Let me move over to FanDuel and we can talk about that Rockies game. All right, 1 second. Is that the latest game on the slate?
It is 3:10. I can do it. So you've got Garrett Cole going against Colorado, which basically takes the Rockies' bats out of play. Cole is an interesting option. Rockies horrible against righties. Cole is a pretty good power pitcher that plays well in Coors Field. It's the breaking ball stuff that does not have the same movement. So I think you're okay with Cole. We're only looking at him on FanDuel, so it's kind of playing with fire. And there's plenty of other options out there today, but he's in the mix. When you come to bats, you've got Chase Anderson on the other side. You want to look to Giancarlo Stanton. Will he hit a home run for the third straight day? We shall see. But him, Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, those guys are all fine up at the top. DJ LeMahieu batting cleanup in the Remember Me series. I think this was the first time LeMahieu has been back to Colorado. I was listening to part of that game, and I thought they said that yesterday.
How long ago did DJ LeMahieu play in Colorado?
4 or 5 years ago. It's been a while. Been a hot minute.
Yeah. I forgot that he played in Colorado. All right. So now we made it through to the end of the slate.
Now we've made it through.
All right. So is your answer going to be different for your top 3 stacks on DraftKings versus FanDuel, given that we have Coors Field on
No,
FanDuel?
because I'm not going to worry about that one. Okay. I am making sure. So the optimizer is not giving me the Diamondbacks. I'm very frustrated by that. So I am going to be locking in some of their players because I can't think of another way to make it. Oh, I know why it doesn't like it. It's because it's fighting. They have 2 third basemen, and those are the ones I've highlighted. Sometimes the optimizer's doing what I told it to.
It always does when you tell it to EMac. That's the thing that a lot of people
may not have been what I wanted. So There we go. So we just can't do 5-man stacks because it's not going to like that. So I just got to make some lineups that are around Evan Longoria and some that are around Emmanuel Rivera. See, look, boom, there we go. Put those into our crunch. Get ready to upload.
So am I hearing that the Diamondbacks are going to be one of your 3 favorite stacks?
Yes. So Diamondbacks are number 3. Number 1 is Tampa Bay. And I guess number 2 is going to be Milwaukee. I have 50% Christian Yelich. That's a problem.
Okay. So Milwaukee, you say Milwaukee, Tampa, and the Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to force in a little bit more of the Diamondbacks. I did not get to any. I'm only playing 30 lineups today, but I currently have 0 exposure to any of the Diamondbacks bats. So maybe I need to force them in as well. Sounds like you'd be in favor.
I realized that I ran all my crunches without a player cap on it. Oops.
Yeah. You'll want to redo that.
Yeah, but we got 10 minutes. Whatever. I'm going to let it ride.
You're good. All right. 3 favorite pitchers.
3 favorite pitchers. We have looking at my popularity, Jack Flaherty on 35%. Field is at 20. I ended up with 32%. Zach Wheeler. Field's at 40. I ended up with 30% of Kyle Bradish. Field is at 12. 26% Zach Eflin. Field is at 20. And then I doubled up on Justin Steele. I've got 26. Field is at 11.
All right. So you're
so if I was those 5 are all I would consider cash viable. I would probably play Eflin and Flaherty if I was playing DK cash. I'm not today because I'm just doing tournaments because I knew I'd be on the show. But Those would be the ones I would play.
All right. Wait. So you gave me a lot more than 3 there.
Yeah. No, that's why I gave you 5, but that's why I kind of backed down. So Eflin and Steele are my favorite in tournaments. Flaherty as your SP3. You don't need to play him on FanDuel, but he's a good the third guy because he pairs nicely with either one of those as an SP2. And then I got more Wheeler than I was expecting, but still under the field. He's going to be the most popular today.
All right. And you have a home run pick.
So what did we say? We said Evan Longoria. We said Cody Bellinger. And then I'm gonna have to take somebody from Tampa Bay. Good God, is it Luke Raley? It is going to be Luke Raley.
Luke Raley is your home run pick. All right, let me see who I have for my
making
home
sure
run
he's
pick.
in the lineup. Yep, he's batting cleanup.
All right, I'll make my home run pick as well.
Download my CSV and then upload.
Plenty of time. Still got 7 minutes. All right, home run pick outside of course. I mean, Kyle Schwarber. We've got a 32% chance of Kyle Schwarber hitting a home run today off Seth Lugo. That's going to be my home run pick. I'm just going to go with the easy one. You don't like it?
Wow!
Even with
Lugo only having a 140 or what I say 139 ISO over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm a trust the numbers guy. I'm trusting the numbers here. Does anybody have any other questions? We're clearly both doing our stacks right here as we're talking about it, working through our lineups. But we have some time if anybody has.
We have 7 minutes.
Questions. Yeah, we got plenty of time for any questions anybody has. Happy to answer them. Yeah, that one is for you, Mike, producer Mike. Neil after my own heart. Schwarber bomb. He loves it. Gang Green says that you also said Votto's going to home run today.
Oh, yes, I did. So there's the 3.
You can make a nice parlay just off of all of EMac's home run calls today.
I would do that, but only do like $5 or $3. Don't. I went wild with a bunch of home run parlays last night, and none of them hit.
I mean, it's home run parlays are tough. Like nobody. Yeah. It's rare that you have some.
I was feeling good until I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, you saw somebody almost hit a home run parlay on Friday night when we gave our home run picks. You, myself, and Eric Lindquist. We got 2 out of the 3, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, somebody tweeted.
Yeah, it would have been me who failed with Brandon Belt. He had a couple extra base hits though.
Yeah, it was good effort by Brandon Belt. All right. Does anybody have any questions for us? I don't think so. Are you guys cool with the Cardinals and D-backs 4-4 stack on FanDuel for a GPP? I think so. Cardinals and D-backs. Let me check it out.
I think it's fine.
FanDuel.
I would play all the righties from the Diamondbacks. You are looking for home runs in this one. I'm not as fired up going against Josiah Gray as I mentioned, but I think it's perfectly fine. He could easily have a meltdown. And make you happy. Let me get this uploaded, then I'll call up some Josiah Gray numbers.
Cardinals and D-backs. So yeah, we have. What happened? Cardinals. Cardinals 5% chance to be in the top stack. We have the D-backs with a 3% chance to be in the top stack on FanDuel. So you're getting pretty contrarian with these stacks. D-backs coming in at 2% ownership. Cardinals at 8%. But seems viable if you like the players you got in there. You like your pitcher. I think that sounds like a viable stack.
When you get an upload error on your CSV, that's when you feel alive.
Did you get at least a set of lineups in, even if it's not your most recent? Oh, yeah, that's not fun. I'm adjusting all of the projections on my D-backs so that I get to some on your advice, EMac.
Okay.
Still, I've updated them a couple times. I'm still not getting to much of the D-backs, even with pretty significant boosts in their projection. So this is not a projection play, looks like.
No, and it's because Carroll is expensive and there's 2 third basemen, and
right.
that's
tough to get them as a stack.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get that stack unless you go with a 3 or a 4 man.
Right. All right. Think I'm finally done. I think I'm going to upload this set and be completely done with my lineups and still answer any questions anybody has. I like that, Benny. That's funny. All right. Late. Who would you stack more of, Minnesota or Seattle? Minnesota or so for the late slate?
I would go Minnesota. I'll tell you guys why as soon as I actually get one of these goddamn CSVs to upload.
So we've got the Twins taking on JP Sears, Seattle taking on Reese Olson. So Seattle has the higher implied total of those two teams. Twins are in Oakland, so that makes it a little bit tough. I'm always happy to just take the Twins.
All right, there we go.
Oh, he's asking about both of our teams.
Yeah, I know, and I actually one. I'm going to drop the link into chat because I write up a slate and a pitcher or pitcher and a stack for every slate. But today I did a little differently because there's only 4 games. So since we are almost at lock, I will just read these to you guys. So I said Joe Ryan is my number 1 pitcher. The Athletics are at risk of being swept in Oakland by the Twins. The A's have been frisky with 11 runs in the first 2 games. Ryan is on the cusp of being a tier 1 starter, but he's not there yet because he doesn't have the consistency. So he's my number 1 guy. Number 2 is Sears. However, my notes even say the power is lacking for the projected starters. They also have a 28% strikeout rate this season against lefties. But I said take Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa against Sears in those lineups. That'll get you your differentiation. The only other hitter you're really worried about is Kyle Farmer. For Bryce Miller, I said he was going to be activated from the injured list. He suffered a blister on the middle finger of his pitching hand. Should be good to go against Detroit. Somehow Detroit won 6-0 yesterday against the Mariners, and they have 11 runs in the first 2 games back here. So that is... They're the Motor City Kitties. They're better, but they're not 11 runs per 2 games better. And then Reese Olson, I said, so the Mariners actually weren't bad last night. They had 6 walks, 3 hits, but 12 strikeouts. That left a lot of runners on base. Olson is stretched out. However, he was used as a reliever for 2 innings in his last appearance, coming in after Tariq Skubal made one of his returns. He only had 20 pitches. He should be good for 70 to 75 pitches. So Ryan and Sears are the 2 pitchers I like, and the differentiation will be Buxton and or Correa in that lineup.
Okay. Chris Williams says, I don't understand how Seattle lost 0-6 yesterday, yet their prices on DraftKings Sky. The price probably came out before the game, though, right? Don't they?
Yeah, they had today this morning's contests out before the games even started last night.
Yeah, so that's probably why. Jake Swales calling a Michael Harris dong. Arcathal's is back calling an Ellie De La Cruz dong. A lot of good potential.
Okay.
Oh, Mike Grace's Bellinger dong is easy money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Kainoa's dad agrees with that one. All right, it is. We are to lock pencils down, as Paul Lagno says. Thank you guys for watching. EMac, do you have any final words?
No, let's have some fun. It's Sunday fun day after all. I'm going to go for a walk and then do day job work.
Oh, nice. You have to do day job work on the weekend. What a life.
'Tis the busy season. So
because
our year end is June 30th. So I work in HR compensation. So we're doing our annual salary planning process. So I oversee the training of 3,000 people managers.
Wow.
And I'm the main person doing their support. And we're putting 17,000 people through our salary review process right now. So Friday was the deadline for the first wave of leaders. So I've got a lot of curating to do.
EMac is not just a pretty face. Yeah. Santander Dong says the Viking Nomad. All right, well, that will do it for the show. EMac, good luck with your day job work. That sounds like a lot of fun that you've got ahead of you. Good luck to everybody today on the slate. If you haven't yet hit the like button, please do hit that like button. Helps us out quite a bit. And yeah, good luck today.
Sawadee Krap.